Meet Farid, a small Bangladeshi boy, standing barefoot outside a house made of rusted tin and broken wood. No comfort, no privilege, just dust beneath his feet, and silence in his eyes. The world didn't see potential. It saw poverty. The world didn't see a future millionaire. It saw a poor village boy who would never make it. But what they couldn't see was the fire forming inside him. Because sometimes, greatness is born in the quietest places. School was supposed to be his way out. But instead, it became another place where he felt lost. The teacher wrote English words on the board. Dog. Books. Chair. Simple words for everyone else. But for him, they felt like a foreign world he didn't belong in. The other boys laughed. They covered their mouths. They whispered. Not because he was lazy. Not because he wasn't trying. But because he didn't understand. He sat there quietly, staring at a book filled with words that made no sense. And in that moment, he felt smaller than ever before. But what they didn't know was this. He wasn't stupid. He was just starting from behind. And sometimes, the ones who start behind run the furthest. It didn't stop in the classroom. Outside, it got worse. They pointed at him. They laughed at him. They made him feel like he didn't belong. He held his books tighter, like they were the only thing he had left. He didn't fight back. He didn't argue. He didn't shout. He just stood there, quiet, embarrassed, alone. But here's what no one understood. Every laugh was building his tolerance. Every insult was building his discipline. Every moment of humiliation was shaping his resilience. They thought they were breaking him. They were actually building him. Because sometimes, the pain you feel today becomes the power you use tomorrow. School wasn't the only battle he was fighting. At home, things were even harder. His mother tried to stay strong. She worked. She sacrificed. She hid her pain. But some days, the weight of poverty was too much. Bills unpaid. Food barely enough. Dreams feeling impossible. And on those days, he saw the tears she tried to hide. He was just a boy. But in that moment, he felt like the man of the house. He placed his hand on her shoulder, not knowing how to fix everything, but knowing one thing for sure. He had to become someone. Not for pride. Not for revenge. But so his mother would never have to cry like this again. That day, his dream stopped being about success. It became about responsibility. While other children played, he worked. The streets became his classroom. The dust became his uniform. And responsibility became his childhood. He knelt on the ground, polishing shoes that cost more than everything he owned. Every shine was a meal. Every customer was survival. He wasn't begging. He was earning. He wasn't complaining. He was learning. He learned how to look people in the eye. How to speak with respect. How to stay humble. But most importantly, he learned that no job is small when your dreams are big. The world saw a poor boy shining shoes. But inside him, a future businessman was studying people, discipline, and hustle. And this was only the beginning. The streets were loud. The world was cruel. But at night, it was just him. A small wooden table, a worn notebook, and a single flickering lamp. The house was dark. But his mind was not. While others slept, he studied. Not because it was easy. Not because someone forced him. But because he refused to stay where he started. The same boy who was laughed at in class was now teaching himself in silence. Every word he wrote was a step forward. Every page he filled was a promise kept. He didn't have electricity. He didn't have comfort. But he had something stronger than both. Hunger. And hunger creates champions. Years passed. The boy who once shined shoes now stood on his own feet. He learned. He failed. He tried again. And then, it happened. A handshake. Not charity. Not pity. A deal. The first person who didn't laugh at him. The first person who saw value in him. This wasn't $1 million contract. It was something more powerful. Proof. Proof that he could build something. Proof that he could earn respect. Proof that he belonged in rooms like this. That handshake was louder than every insult he ever heard. Because it meant one thing. The journey had officially begun. Success didn't happen overnight. There were contracts to read. Risks to take. Decisions that could change everything. On nights like this, he sat alone. Rain outside. Silence inside. No applause. No cheering. Just responsibility. Every paper in his hands carried weight. One wrong move, and everything he built could fall apart. But this time, he wasn't the confused boy in the classroom. He understood. He had learned the language of business. The language of negotiation. The language of growth. And as the rain fell against the glass, he made a choice. He would not play small. He would not think small. He would build something bigger than anyone ever imagined. Success isn't loud in the beginning. It's quiet. It's long hours in small spaces. It's typing when others are sleeping. It's building when no one is watching. The same boy who once couldn't understand English now writes emails, negotiates deals, studies markets. No applause. No headlines. Just progress. He didn't rush the process. He respected it. Every late night. Every careful decision. Every small improvement. Brick by brick. He was building something bigger than survival. He was building freedom. And this time, the world wasn't laughing. The world was starting to notice. The same hands that once polished shoes now sign contracts. The same boy who was laughed at for not speaking English now negotiates in boardrooms. This desk isn't just wood and paper. It's proof. Proof that struggle can turn into strength. Proof that humiliation can turn into hunger. Proof that poverty is not permanent. He didn't inherit success. He built it. One sacrifice. One late night. One decision at a time. And as he signs his name, he remembers the barefoot boy standing outside a rusted tin house. He didn't escape his past. He honored it. Because success isn't about forgetting where you came from. It's about showing the world that where you start doesn't decide where you finish. There was a time. He stood barefoot in the dust. Now, he stands above the city. The boy who once felt small now builds companies. The child who was mocked for not speaking English now leads meetings. The one who polished shoes now owns businesses. This view isn't luck. It's discipline. It's sacrifice. It's nights under a dim lamp. It's tears he never showed. It's promises he refused to break. But the most powerful part? He never forgot that little boy. Because that little boy is the reason this man exists. And if you're standing in the dust right now, remember this. Where you start is not where you finish. Pain is temporary. Growth is permanent. And one day, you will stand tall, looking back at everything that tried to stop you.